Right, today we are making apple crumble. So we're going to start off by making the crumble topping. And for the crumble topping, we need our margarine. Our margarine comes in a little stack. So we've got a little tower of margarine. So you need to take a tall stack of marge. And the next thing that we have to do is weigh out 75 grams of plain flour. So in your bowl you'll have your plain flour and your margarine. We've got to rub our margarine into the flour, but the other thing that we need to add in is oats brown sugar as well. So in our bowl we have our margarine, we have our plain flour, we've got our rolled oats and our brown sugar. So next thing we have to do is start rubbing in. Now remember, we've done this at least twice before, so it's not a new skill and we should be perfect at it. So I'm just going to move. Can you make sure that it's filming me rubbing in?
Why do you need the iPad?
Because I'm filming myself.
Do you have a YouTube channel?
I was going to put it on YouTube, yeah.
I'll watch it. I'll subscribe.
Oh yeah. Thank you.
I'm thinking about starting one. But this, that don't really agree.
If I was making this at home, I would add more things into my crumble mix. I would probably add pumpkin seeds, maybe sunflower seeds in as well, just to give it a bit more crunch. So you could do that if you make this at home. The other thing that I would do at home is, instead of using margarine, I would use butter, because the butter gives, personally I think it gives a better flavour. So I'm just rubbing in. Are you getting this? Splendid. And you didn't take a sneaky wee one of me, did you?
A little bit.
It's from the wrong angle. You'll just see a big fat chin, won't you? No, Miss Gristwood, you do not have a big fat chin. Yes, I do. So I'm rubbing in and I'm trying to coat all my flour, my rolled oats, my sugar with my margarine. And I'm going for breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
Yeah?
You're chucking a lot of them out.
I know. And remember, I sugar my bowl. And all the bits I've not rubbed in will come to the surface. Daniel, are you touching Connor?
He's hitting my back.
Didn't you be doing that? Now, after I've made my crumble mix, I just put it to the side because I need to turn my attentions to my apple. So I'll just put that to the side, I'll get my hands washed, and then I'm going to do my apple. So, would you like to get your crumble mix made, please? So at point 5 of your recipe, it says filling. So we're going to do our filling, and it says put 2 tablespoons of water into your foil dish. Now your tablespoon is your big spoon, one that could hardly fit into your mouth because it's so big. So you're going to put 2 full tablespoons in. Watch my shaky hand because I've got a bad wrist. Okay? Splendid. The next thing you've got to do is collect your caster sugar, your cinnamon and your sultanas. I've done caster sugar and cinnamon, and I've done that for a reason, because I want to show you a bit of a trick. And it says sultanas if liked. So what does that mean?
You don't have to have them.
You don't have to have them if you don't want them. Okay? It's optional. Cinnamon. What I'd like you to do, if you want to, is mix the cinnamon in with your sugar, get a plastic spoon, hold your nose, have a little taste.
Why have you hold your nose?
Very good reason. I see what you can taste. And then after a bit, after you've tasted it, release your nose. And you should get a certain sensation in your senses, okay? So I've got my sugar, I've got my cinnamon. I now have to prepare my apple. Now this will stay with you forever until you are old. How to prepare an apple for appleness. So you need to wash your apple first because it might have been on a tree where they've sprayed it with stuff. Then you're going to get your apple and you're going to cut it in half using your bridge. And then each half in half using your bridge. This is just so your fingers don't get in the way and you don't cut your fingers off. So I should have 4 bits of apple. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? We need to remove the core. There are different options for removing the core. If you feel very, very confident with your knife, then you can turn your apple like that and make an incision down towards the core, turn it, and make another incision, and your core should pop up. Oh dear, this is where it goes wrong, isn't it? Ah, there we go, okay? If you're confident, you can do it that way. If you're not feeling so confident, then you can keep your apple like this, and you can make an incision in there and down, in there and down, and your core should come out like that. Sorry, Maddie, I don't think the film is really good. I'll just... Okay, so again, no core. And if you're feeling, you know, I'm not really very good with my knife skills, just take a wee cut across there and cut your core out thus. Okay? Then you need to get your veg peeler. Today it's an apple peeler. And peel your apple. I'm going to peel mine onto a paper towel so it's right easy for me to collect all my peelings up, put it in the bin, and Bob's my uncle. So I've just quickly peeled one, you're going to do all 4. So the next stage is for me to slice my apple. Now it's a wee bit awkward because of the shape, so I need to watch my fingers, and I'm going for about 3 millimeters. A wee bit thicker. And you're going to do that with all your apple. Could you stop it? So, hello, back to apple crumble. So I have washed, quartered, removed my core, peeled and sliced my apple.
Sliced, diced, quartered, chopped, murdered, killed and destroyed.
Thank you, John.
Okay, where are the... Ah, there.
So if I look at my recipe, it says that I have to place apples and sugar mixture in a tin foil and mix well with spoon. So that's what I'm going to do next. So if you remember, I already have a water in my foil container. So I now need to place my apples.
Okay, this is
And I'm going to layer my apples up. So I'm going to use half of them to start with, and I need to get them sort of flattened. And then I want to use some of my sugar.
I'll try yours.
And I put my sugar over my apples. And then I'm going to layer the rest of my apples into my foil dish. I'll do this as carefully as possible. Do you think I'll get a following on YouTube then?
I don't know, but could you help peel mine? Because whenever I do, the apple just keeps going in there.
Yeah, your partner will?
Well,
She can't.
Then I'm going to sprinkle some of my sultanas over it. Now remember, sultanas is optional. And I can put the rest of my sugar on. Yum, yum. My last stage is flatten the apple mixture and then cover with the crumble mixture. So I've got my apple and my sultanas. I'm flattening with the back of my tablespoon. Yum, yum. Oops. I've got a raisin that escaped. And remember, I left my crumble over here. So I'm just going to move it back over to my dish. Well, just do your best to either peel it now or just put it in unpeeled.
Okay, does it really matter?
No. So I'm putting my crumble mixture on top. And now I don't want mine to look all nice and smooth. I want it to look a wee bit more rustic. So I'm not going to flatten it down. And then I can move my container onto my baking tray. You and your partners can go in the same tray. And if I have a look at this, the last bit of the recipe, it says place on baking tray and bake for 20 to 30 minutes until golden brown. So if I have a wee look at the clock, it says it's about 11:30. So I know that my crumble will be coming out at about 10 to 12. Then I can get my dishes done and my units set up. Okay?